Hi community of awesome, I'm Ava J and this is Bookish Pixie. So requested vlog, you guys have asked if I could do a vlog on how to write a series, so I'm going to share how I've done it. I do want to emphasize that there isn't a one singular correct way to plot a series. This is just how I've done it. It may or may not work for you, but this is one method. So, how I've plotted a series. In Beyond the Red's case, I first just plotted out and wrote Beyond the Red singularly. While I did have some vague ideas about what I wanted to do in future books, and specifically how I wanted to end the series, and that I knew I wanted it to be a trilogy, I also knew that at the time, as I was an unagented and unpublished writer, it was a lot harder for me to sell the idea of a series both to an agent and to a publisher immediately. So I knew that the chances were likely I'd have to stick with Beyond the Red as a standalone at first, and then hope that it could expand into a series. Ultimately, that is what happened to me. Beyond the Red sold as a standalone, and my editor knew that I was interested in expanding that, but we needed to see how Beyond the Red would do first before they were able to consider future books. So yeah, I plotted out Beyond the Red, and then I also kept a running document of vague ideas for the sequels. I think this was a Susan Denner tip where as you get ideas, you just kind of keep it all in one document so that later on you can go back and refer to it. And that's basically what I did. But for a long time, most of the plotting was just happening in my head. I was thinking about other possibilities, I was thinking about other characters, I was thinking about what I wanted to do, and I just kind of let it sit in my head for a long time without putting it to paper until I finally got the go-ahead to get an outline going. So by the time came to actually outline the next book, I had a lot of ideas already floating around in my head and on the document I was able to put all together into this new document and then just fill in the blanks. I will say that in the future I will probably plot out the second book if I'm just pitching the one book, so I have it ready and I have it so that I could pitch it, immediately if I wanted to. And that way I wouldn't have to scramble last minute to try to throw everything together and get it done in time. So that's actually a lesson I learned. I'm not saying that my method of just kind of keeping it in my head and a few written down things in that document was bad. It actually did work for me, but I think in the future I'd like to be a little more organized so I have something concrete, and if I need to whip it out last second, I can. Two important things you want to remember when you're working on a sequel. You first want to pick up where the previous book left off, and you want to summarize just a little. By a little, I mean you want to summarize enough that if a reader picked up your book mid-series, they wouldn't be utterly confused. And also, if your readers have forgotten what happened in the previous book, you want to include enough information to jog their memories for the important things, but not so much that they're bored because you're just recapping. It's a fine balance to hit, and to get there, you often need to work with both people who have read your book and people who haven't, so that you can kind of toe the line between too much information and too little. But it's an important balance to hit. Another important thing to remember is every book should be a complete book. So cliffhangers are okay, for example, but only if you have an entire plot completed in that book and you're not leaving off like mid-climax. Character development is also really essential. The series that have stuck the most with me have been ones where the characters developed a ton from the first book to the last in a way that made sense for their character. Another important thing to remember when you're working on a series is to continue to expand the world that you've created and continue to develop the rules that you established in the first book without breaking those rules. By the time your readers are done finishing your series, the first book that they read should have a world that feels small compared to the large world that you've expanded in the last book. So that's what I got for today. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to subscribe and comment, and I'll see you guys next week.